Welcome to another episode of InRange. I'm coming to you today with a very interesting product that's on the market, the S333 Thunderstruck Volleyfire Revolver. And this is specifically targeted at the self-defense and civilian self-defense market. And why it's called the 333 is it is designed to deal with the gunfighting rule of three. The gunfighting rule of three is that almost all civilian self-defense shootings happen within 3 seconds, with 3 rounds fired, and within 3 yards. Now, I've looked at that data, and I haven't seen any data to really back up the rule of three. And there's a lot of contentious debate on the internet whether the rule of three is real or not, but we do see some trainers and other institutes stating that there is a rule of three. So it's up to you if you want to believe that the rule of three is a real thing or not. When things fall into that category, I tend to think that they're more a myth than a reality, but regardless, there is this rule of three, and this was designed to fit in that niche specifically. So what this is an 8-shot 22 Winchester Magnum revolver that fires 2 rounds per trigger press. So you have 8 rounds in the cylinder, but every time you press the trigger, you get 2 of them fired in what's called volley fire. Yes, there are 2 barrels as well, of course. So what that means is it doesn't violate the NFA, because the NFA does not consider volley fire a machine gun. A machine gun is something that fires 1 round right after another while keeping the trigger depressed. Since 2 rounds are fired simultaneously, they've declared that volley fire, not much different than if you were to use a coach gun and pull both triggers at the same time and fire both barrels. That's also a volley fire and is not considered a violation of the NFA. So therefore, that is legal. But the idea behind this is that with that really weird trigger and having 2 rounds of Winchester Magnum fired simultaneously, that this will be a devastating self-defense weapon and easy for anyone to use, creating 2 wound channels. Now, what the terminal ballistics are of 22 Winchester Magnum is also up for debate. When you look on the internet and look at the data around that, it seems that most of the 22 Winchester Magnum ammunition doesn't even make the minimum penetration depth that you'd want. But there are specialized 22 Magnum defense rounds like critical defense, etc. So maybe those can do something that others don't. And that's another thing that we'd have to essentially consult the ghost of Martin Fackler to find out more about. Let's give that a whirl. So Martin Fackler's dead, but I think we have a way to get a hold of him, and using this very interesting planchette should be able to draw his spirit to us. So let's see if we can get a hold of Martin Fackler, the god of modern terminal ballistic data. We call for the spirit of Martin Fackler. We have a question for you that only you can answer. We need to know if dual 22 Winchester Magnum wound channels are a good solution as a self-defense revolver, and the terminal ballistics thereof. Please, Martin, hear our call. If you are hearing us, please knock. All right, we've got knocking. Martin, is that you? Whoa. All right, we've got Martin Fackler on the line. Martin, we need to know, are 2 or dual 22 Winchester Magnum wound channels a good solution for self-defense? W. H. O. C. A. R. E. S. Who cares? Martin, I thought you cared about these things. Why would you answer us with something like that? Why would you do that? Why? Why? All right. Well, Martin, let us send you to back to the beyond. Thank you for reaching out to us today. We appreciate your time, sir. Goodbye. Okay, so Martin Fackler doesn't care, and neither do I. So let's just take a closer look at the revolver itself. Okay, I must say that this does come in a nice package. It is almost Apple-like in its packaging. There you see, Thunderstruck Volleyfire. Let's go ahead and open the box. And there she is. So let's go ahead and take that out. Obviously, even though this is right out of the box, we're going to clear it. It does say not to dry fire this because it is a rimfire gun, and if you're going to dry fire it, to leave this little plastic insert in to absorb some of the damage that would happen to the firing pin. Overall, I'm going to say the fit and finish of the gun for what it is pretty nice. This cost about $450. That's what I spent for it to get it for you here on InRange and to do a review of it. And it does look well manufactured. It does have very nice 3-dot sights that are easy to pick up. I think the sights are quite good, actually. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't feel weird or bad in the hand. In fact, if you don't care about the sights, you can also put your thumb up here on this and actually get a little more purchase on the gun, especially in a self-defense scenario. This very odd trigger is designed to help people who have low hand strength be able to fire the gun reliably. This dingus, of course, is a safety, and in fact, if you try to pull fire the gun with just one finger, it's nearly impossible. You need the mechanical advantage of using both in this design. And then it pretty much has the trigger pull, and you can hear this, of a staple gun. It really does. I mean, you hear people call guns staple guns. This really feels like a staple gun. It has a long creep and then suddenly snap. And that's how that works. And of course, that would be 2 rounds fired per instance. And you get trigger pressed, 4 trigger presses as a result. As I said, 8 rounds, and it ejects and handles like a normal revolver, normal slide open, etc. No real trigger guard, but at the same time, with the dingus and that trigger press, I don't think that that's a concern from a safety perspective. They do have a lot of accessories for this. They have holsters and speed loaders, etc. But considering this is designed for the rule of 3, I don't know why you'd want a speed loader anyway, right? Because you have 4 rounds, not just 3, for your rule of 3. So let's go ahead and take this out to the best possible match I can think of, the backup gun match, and put it through its paces. And we'll get back at the end with conclusions about the S333 Thunderstruck Revolver. So the first stage fired at the backup gun match with the S333 Thunderstruck, and with targets at approximately 15 and 10 yards, I missed everything with all 4 trigger pulls. Now, I was told that on the RO watch that all the rounds hit high. I was using a standard center of mass hold with the sights. The sights look good. They're decent sights. There's nothing wrong with the sights in terms of the sight picture, but I held a center of mass hold on all 3 targets, including firing 2 times at the paper target, which was at 10 yards or less, and nothing hit anything. So I finished that with a complete deficit of running time with no hits. Let's see if I aim lower per what the RO advised in the next stage, and if something works out better. So I don't know what's going on with this. I'm going to load this thing full up. We are obviously 1 yard away from this paper target, and I'm going to fire center of mass directly at the center of the target with 1 trigger press. We're going to see where it goes. But I'm going to back up a yard and do the same thing, and we're going to see when we start losing a simple paper target at as simple as 10 yards. So here we go. Center of mass, middle of target. Normal sight picture. That looks good. Exactly where you'd want it to be. All right, so I'm going to back up. About here. There we go. Wow. They look like they're keyholing.
Bit higher too.
First of all, much higher. They are not stabilized. Let's move back.
Here's where you were.
Okay. Back up another yard. So now I know where that's hitting. I'm going to aim at the bottom of the target with a 6 o'clock hold. Wow, okay. Once again high. We are now destabilized once again. That bullet hit, essentially stabilized. That one is keyholing. We'll go back 1 more yard. We got 1 more trigger press. About right here. All right, I'm going to aim low and right. Wow! Let's go take a look. We are open, so we are safe. I aimed right here. What's happening is it's not a problem with the sights. The gun's not stabilizing the projectiles. These are 2 keyhole hits at less than 10 yards. So this has 2 large targets and a bunch of little ones. Since this gun doesn't stabilize rounds past 3 yards, I'm just going to shoot bottom right and hope that keyholing rounds will be somehow consistent. So I'm going to fire 2 at the steel and 2 at the paper and see if anything happens. It doesn't seem poorly manufactured except for this issue, but this is an issue.
I was going to say, if I can't hit what you pointed at.
You do have a problem.
Yeah.
You're not accustomed to doing this.
Are you ready? Yep. Shooter's ready. Stand by.
One keyholing round on the edge of the paper. So we wing this guy.
Hit the wood.
Hit the wood.
Hit the wood too, and then nothing.
Pretty clean.
Nothing. I aim down here, and this is at 12 yards. All right, so we're in the safety area, and it really occurred to me, I didn't really look. Does this thing even have rifling? So let's get some sunlight here. And yeah, I can see on the camera, there's rifling in there. Now, I don't know what's up with it. It's not stabilizing these rounds at past 3 yards, but there's rifling in the gun, or in these 2 barrels. So it does have rifling. It's not like they forgot that step or something. All right, that's 4 rounds on one target.
Nothing?
Nothing. Okay, after verifying that there was rifling in the actual barrels, I had the third stage of the day, and there was a no-shoot in front of me and 3 paper targets behind it that were all shoot targets. Closest one was about 7 yards away. I decided to fire all 4 trigger presses at that one target, holding bias low, essentially a 6 o'clock hold on the target. That's 8 rounds fired at the same target at about 7 yards. And as you just saw, no hits. 0 hits. Well, we got 1 stage left. I don't think this is going to get any better, and then we'll have conclusions.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of competing.
Hold up.
I get you, she won't just throw that. Call 911.
Ben's up now, then Kathy.
No.
Here we go!
There you go.
So, I aimed here. Now, when you aim sideways, you want to have the normal sight picture. You want to aim on the edge of the target, 6 o'clock hole, for lack of a better term, of the edge you're firing on. And I fired a foot away from the target, and I have 1 keyhole and 1 hole and a bunch of nothing.
I think it pretty much.
It is a Magnum.
It
It is a Magnum. So I have completed the backup gun match with the S333 Thunderstruck. Now, I don't know if you'd call what happened completed, in that I fired 4 stages and fired all 8 rounds out of this revolver at all 4 stages. And that means I fired 32 rounds, and out of 32 rounds fired, the best thing that happened was I had 1 round keyholing on an edge strike on a piece of paper at 7 yards. I missed everything else, literally. And as you saw in the video, as we moved up past just a couple yards, the bullets are not stable and are keyholing into the target. And once you get farther than that, you can't even reliably tell where they're going to hit, regardless of what your point of aim is. It has decent sights and a decent sight picture, but it's completely irrelevant. It might as well not have them. If your purpose for buying this is as a belly gun or replacement to what would be an Old West Derringer, in which you intend to use this as a backup piece directly pressed into your assailant, well, maybe this would be an acceptable choice. You are getting 2 rounds instead of 1 round per each trigger press. But at the same time, what's the ballistic terminal ballistics of Winchester Magnum? I have no idea. This is the ammunition I was using today, CCI HP Mini Mags. As you can see, Magnum. This is the only ammunition I could find during the apocalypse going on right now. People are hoarding everything. We've stopped hoarding toilet paper, now we're hoarding ammunition, and apparently 22 Magnum is what you're going to use to fight the COVIDs. But this is what I could find, this is what I had. I could not do anything besides this. So perhaps this gun would like other ammunition, but the reality is it's not stabilizing this whatsoever, so I don't know how that could matter all that much. I'm going to contact Standard Manufacturing and I'm going to ask them what the deal is with this, and perhaps they want to look at this as a defective piece, and I will let the audience know what the update is for that. But in terms of my final conclusion and review about this particular revolver at this time with a sample of 1, which by the way, this was purchased completely with InRange funds. This was not supplied by the manufacturer. It was not donated by someone. I bought this with monies from viewers like you who support this channel, allow me to do honest reviews. No advertising money, no overlords, no sponsors. You, the viewers, support InRange, and that's why we can do honest reviews. In final conclusion, I would say that if it was this or an 1862 Colt cap and ball black powder revolver, I would take the 1862 Colt in a heartbeat over this because I could at least hit what I'm aiming at reliably. I'm not recommending that you carry a cap and ball revolver for self-defense. That would be a ridiculous notion in the year 2020. But what I am saying is you should not carry this for any purpose whatsoever. The reality is that this is a liability not only to you as a self-defense item in that you can't hit the assailant you're aiming at, but it's a liability to everyone around what you're attempting to shoot at unless you're sticking it directly into the target. The reality is you're going to miss what you're trying to hit, and you're going to hit everything behind it or around it with absolutely no idea or accountability for each round fired, except that you will be held accountable for each round fired. But you can't say that, you know what, the gun doesn't shoot the point of aim and it doesn't stabilize bullets. That's not a defense when you're in court trying to justify why you fired 8 rounds of Winchester Magnum downrange and hit people or things you were not aiming at. So, we'll see what Standard Manufacturing has to say. Guys, thank you so much if you're a Patreon supporter. It's you, the viewer, that allowed me to buy this off the shelf right out of the box. It's a sample of 1, but they had it there. I bought it, and I wanted to do a review for you because it was an interesting and clever idea. I can't speak to if it's a good idea, but what I can speak is to that it's a poorly executed idea, at least in this sample of 1. So thank you, Patreon supporters. You allow me to do honest reviews. If you're not one, please consider it. And if you like this kind of content, doubly consider it because that's what enables me to do it. If you can't, I understand. Subscribe to one of my multiple distribution points. You can find them all at inrange.tv/watch. We're not just on YouTube. Thanks for watching and share with your friends.